Today is a Monday, September 25, 2023. Economic challenges run deep in Pakistan. Recently, caretaker Finance Minister Dr. Shamshad Akhtar disclosed that state-owned enterprises, SOEs, in the country incur annual losses of approximately Rs 500 billion. Before we delve into the proposed solutions, it's essential to grasp the significance of this staggering figure within our economic landscape. As of September 21, the exchange rate was approximately 292.78 Pakistani rupees to $1. When you divide Rs 500 billion by 292.78, it becomes evident that this sum equals more than $1.71 billion. For context, Pakistan's state bank holds forex reserves of about $7.7 billion, meaning that the yearly losses of SOEs account for roughly a fifth of the central bank's foreign exchange reserves. This comparison is not arbitrary. Pakistan frequently relies on foreign funds for various purposes, including maintaining its forex reserves. The substantial fiscal gap between the country's income and expenses is one primary reason. Filling this gap solely through domestic borrowings is impractical, necessitating foreign borrowings. Reducing the fiscal deficit would diminish the need for borrowing. Since the government assumes SOEs' financial losses, decreasing these losses would contribute to a smaller fiscal deficit and reduce the requirement for borrowed funds. Furthermore, the yearly Rs 500 billion misfortune caused by SOEs addresses a critical piece of the national government's borrowings from business banks. The central government acquired Rs 3.63 billion in the past financial year on a money premise, as per the State Bank of Pakistan. Rs 500 billion amounts to approximately 13.78% of this borrowing. In simpler terms, if SOEs operated without losses, the federal government's borrowings could have been reduced by Rs 500 billion or 13.78%. Dr. Shamshad Akhtar has indicated that the caretaker government is formulating a policy to assess SOEs' annual losses more accurately and implement corrective measures. This policy involves retaining strategic SOEs while gradually removing others from the control of line ministries, placing them under independent boards of directors. This strategic move is commendable. However, for this avenue to be fully effective, Pakistan must accelerate its privatization program, selling unviable SOEs and garnering interest from local and international investors. Otherwise, the opportunity to generate quick foreign exchange remains limited, and SOEs like Pakistan International Airlines and Pakistan Steel will continue to burden the national exchequer with significant financial losses. The caretaker government's primary mandate is to organize general elections, but managing day-to-day government affairs also falls within its purview. Introducing a new policy to reassess SOEs' financial losses and take corrective measures is reasonable in this context. This reassessment and establishment of independent boards for certain SOEs will better equip the next elected government to address this issue effectively and mitigate future financial losses. However, their impact on fiscal accounts during the current fiscal year is expected to be minimal. In fact, under a supposedly impartial caretaker setup, a substantial reassessment of SOEs' losses may reveal that these losses are even greater than the initially estimated Rs 500 billion per year. If this occurs, consolidating these losses into the overall fiscal budget could raise this year's fiscal deficit beyond the initial projection. Reports suggest that the Ministry of Finance is already underestimating domestic debt servicing costs in this fiscal year's budget. A substantial reassessment of these costs would push the fiscal deficit to unsustainable levels, necessitating new taxes on an already burdened populace and business community, further hampering economic growth. The critical monetary circumstance of the central government is obvious from its significant getting of Rs 1.48 trillion from business banks in only 2 months and weeks of this financial year, a 66% increment contrasted with the past financial year. This inspired government swarms out the classified region and rams into excessive advance expenses, taking off energy costs and declining absolute interest, covering present day and business improvement. In July, the vital month of the monetary year, tremendous extension creation contracted by 1.09% year-on-year and 3.62% compared in June. This follows a significant 10.26% compression in enormous scope fabricating yield in the past financial year, prompting the conclusion of various enterprises and occasional cutbacks, leaving many workers jobless. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel.